Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What? Wait. Can you put that cat down?
Yeah. The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know, I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
Got all existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
that's what the Canadians say, no bueno.
No bueno. If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno, it's
Welcome back. You're in the current with the Rut Road Pursuits podcast. It's reality outdoor radio, connecting you with the people, skills, and products you can trust. Who do we have around the table tonight?
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And this is Dave.
What's up, Dave?
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Tony Maja Products, redefining the art of trolling bunker spoons since 1968. Check them out at TonyMajaProducts.com, where you can find all the rods, line, and terminal tackle you need to start trolling today and get your shot at joining the 50-pound club, fishing the famous Maja bunker spoons or the Magic Mojos. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram by searching Tony Maja Products.
So what's going on, Stevie?
So this month has got me super excited.
That right?
I'm not even
You
going to
don't
tell
say.
you about
You are jacked.
what I've done currently. We're jumping right into what's going on this month currently.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm following that.
you may have already caught the drift by listening to our Sonic Campfire episode the other day with our buddy Tony Maja.
Yeah.
But the entire month of March is going to be centered around striper fishing.
That's kind of in your wheelhouse,
And
isn't
I
it?
can hardly take it. Like I've never
Bless
been
your
more
heart.
excited to get a month over with.
That fox around your neck is shivering right now.
Oh my goodness.
We've never been this organized for projects like this.
Yeah.
And
So we
yeah,
have a total of 4 experts on striper fishing. They'll be coming
Yeah.
out.
Striper related topics. Oh, it's going to be
Fun.
a lot of fun.
Get your
a lot of
notepad
fun.
out and take some good
Yeah.
notes, boys.
Yeah, fun guys too. Like not, not just experts, but not boring dudes that nobody wants to listen to.
Bueller.
So I've never officially landed a striper. I think it's time.
Really?
I have to.
I
make
thought
that
you
happen.
caught some shorts down in Virginia.
You caught some schoolies.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I guess that counts.
The first striper I ever caught was off the beach at Sandy Point in Maryland, and it was a 12 or 14 inch. It was a small one as far as stripers go, but I spent, and it's almost embarrassing
Dollars
to say
per
this,
striper.
but I spent years
Oh, you were talking
and
about time.
dollars, but more so years until I was able to be at that spot at the right time with the right bait and casting into the right location
To make it happen.
To make it happen. So that short striper, my wife was there to experience it with me. It was one of those, bucket list things to me that we talk about. I've caught a bunch since then, but that's, even though it was small, I'll never.
Yeah, I
never
forgot.
forget that.
I forgot about that whack of schoolies that
Yeah.
I got into. I mean, I probably caught 6 or 7.
Yeah.
all under 10 inches, but they were fun.
Yeah.
I was pitching docks along the bay where I was expecting just some bass, or I didn't really know what to expect. I had no idea what was in there besides catfish. It's the only
Yeah.
thing we've ever pulled out of that part of the bay. And
Morning.
Hey, Kevin. Sorry, I pulled you out. Let me put you back in here.
Is there another species of fish that has more names associated with it?
Probably not.
Then
The banded rudderfish.
Oh, okay, yeah. But you got the schoolies, you got the rockfish, the rock bass, stripers, striped bass. I'm sure there's
Line
Sea
siders.
bass.
Yeah.
the
Well,
convict bass.
No, that's different.
It's not.
Convict bass are. Oh no, there's different. Well, see, there's so many names for every fish in the ocean. You get
from different states, different
Yeah.
areas have a different name for it.
They all crisscross, but I don't know. To answer your question,
I'm going to chalk it up as the most named fish.
I don't think anyone could argue that.
There we go.
Yeah. You heard it here.
I went through the desert on a fish with no name once. Yeah.
It's good
Felt
to
good
be
to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
So what else is going on this week, guys?
Just to kind of go back to what, Stevie wanted his own episode, Striper episode.
Yeah.
But to go
I could
back
talk
is
for hours about it. Like,
Go on.
like this one
like
time.
the time, like even this past year, catching my first freshwater striper. That was, I don't know how many topwater lures I lost. Literally, the guys at Hogheads, Logan from Hogheads, I must.
Did he know your name after that week?
Oh my goodness, it was insane. And
We
I
call
think
him.
I
Proud
had,
of you.
I think I had an episode where I talked about that for catching one fish for 45
I
minutes.
remember it.
I'm sure. Check the back catalog for all those events.
Anyway.
And then this one time,
Will's just trying to avoid the story where, one may have got off right at the rocks.
oh, we got that one too. That's another great episode.
That episode's brought to you by Lawn Cutter.
Yeah. Oh man. When there's time, one episode, I'll tell the real story of what happened.
Please do.
Looking forward to clearing that one up.
But
I think we have video evidence.
I don't
want
want
to.
to. I don't want to take
story.
time. I don't want to take time right now and talk about that.
Maybe I'll post up that video evidence of that.
Please, because then I'll be
What? Vindicated.
vindicated or
Indemnified.
indemnified or condemnified or adjudicated.
Those are your words, bud.
Yeah, I don't know most of
I'm
them.
not an attorney. I don't know.
That's all the words I learned from Law and Order. Let's move on.
I can't stop talking about striper fishing. So we're making an entire month where, well, hopefully we get it out of our system, or at least I get it out of my system.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. But I think, Will, it's probably worthwhile to explain to folks why we're trying this new format.
So I could tell you this much. Let me jump in my little
Yeah.
time machine and go back in time to when I was just, a fan of the podcast. Having heard all of the episodes and listened to the way that now I can say we interact with the guests and stuff. Like there's so much content around one particular topic.
Yeah.
That, even when we spend an entire episode with one individual person, we barely scratch the surface.
Barely.
I mean, how many times have you heard at the end of an episode, man, we got to get you back on so we can finish the conversation?
And how many times we've
occasionally
been
we
able
have.
to do that? It's not very many.
There's been a handful where we've
Yeah.
been able to circle back around, which, by the way, I think we should keep doing more of that.
My goodness.
But if you could take a month and dedicate it to a topic, I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna try it out for March with March Striper Madness. If you guys really like it, let us know. If you don't let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep
don't
that
mention
to
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
I can see it lending itself to, maybe different species
topics,
of things.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Possibilities are endless.
turkey and whitetail.
And-
Let's maybe have our October archery month.
Yeah, and some of
call
that
it.
we kind of do.
Calling
We
it
just don't.
already.
We kind of do that. We
happens
try to
naturally.
keep
Sure.
we try to keep the guests
Relevant.
seasonal,
Yeah.
relevant. But we're trying to take that one level further and just really zero in on a.
Figures we start with stripers.
Yeah, well, and
Well,
here's
it's March.
Here's the
I love
reason.
it.
Yeah, that's the reason.
What do
Exactly.
you do?
They're at least from our standpoint, they're getting close to migrating up towards the bay here within the next
If
I
they're
don't
not
know.
going to be here in March, they'll be here soon.
5-6 weeks, something like that. Yeah. So
I love it.
I love it.
When do they just tell me if it's a question for a guest? But when do the striper move and where do they go?
It's probably there's lots of different. Not
That's regional.
strains. Yeah, it's regional. But the stripers that we typically catch, or that we catch in the bay, they start making their way into the bay. And there's lots of different schools of thought because they're making their way, down from the ocean up into the Chesapeake to spawn in the Susquehanna, and which I think is, it's the biggest spawning ground for striped bass.
So that
But-
movement from the ocean into the bay is for
temp-
spawning.
Yeah, it's for spawning, and it's temperature related. And I've heard to 45 degrees, and everybody's got their own, their own theory. But it's somewhere, I think, in the mid 40s, where they'll start moving up into the bay and staging to spawn, and then those big fish move out of there relatively quickly, out of the bay. By I think mid-May, roughly the end of May, they're gone, and then the resident fish stay in there until they're a few years old. I think somewhere around 3 or 4 years old, they'll hang out in the bay as kind of a nursery, and that's what we're catching. That's what we're catching in the summertime. Now those fish are still big. I mean, you can still catch in the high 20s, 20 couple inches, and there's still plenty of them there.
I catch mine on the season, the precipice of the end of the trophy season, the beginning of the
regular season.
Regular season.
Yeah. So what you caught was yours was in the high 30s, right? Or 40s.
They were just on that. They were literally on the line of a trophy in a regular.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I don't know much of. I didn't.
I think the one you caught was about 40
in
inches
striper
or something
school.
like that.
Yeah.
So, well, you came to the right place
I can't wait.
because
And I don't know about you guys, but we're going to call it March Striper Madness, and it's way better than any of that other March Madness stuff that I've heard goes on for people. I'm not much of a basketball fan,
Oh, gotcha.
so
where's the other?
this is way better.
What's the other big spawning areas for stripers?
The Hudson's a pretty big
River,
one.
and there's
the
one
guys
more,
out on Long
right?
Island.
Long Island.
Long Island.
I think there's a smaller one a little bit north of that, but yeah, Hudson and the Susquehanna, I think are the two main
Is
ones.
there stripers on the West Coast?
They're different. I think they might call them striped bass, but they're a little bit different
Sea bass.
than our striped bass.
Back to
Yeah.
the sea bass.
And they might call them sea bass, but I know they have a striped bass out there. I've seen.
Catch them with Boilermakers.
I've followed a couple of
Boilermakers over here.
If that's sea bass over there, then yeah, well, he's gonna buy our beer.
I don't think we have any West Coast striper folks lined up, but
Maybe next year.
maybe next year.
I'd be willing to bet the guests that we do have lined up are
Could
expert
tell
enough
us.
that they could probably answer that question.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's cool, guys. What else is going on? What'd you do this week, Deke? Anything cool?
do we have to stop talking about striped bass already?
Yeah, we're in the current. We're going
for
to
a
talk about
moment,
what's
bud.
going on.
All right. Well, I'm out.
So, this archery league season, 3D league season for myself.
I love how you guys keep. So archery season's long gone, and you guys are just keeping at it.
Yeah, because it's going to come back, and you want to be ready for it.
And I get that, and that's
You want to be. I want to be more proficient with my shooting.
that is awesome. I
Yeah.
really got to hand it to you. That's admirable.
And for me, as a mediocre shooter, I need something to make sure I practice. So joining a league and getting my butt kicked every week
really,
is just good practice.
well, that's good.
But one thing, after talking to experts like Ryan, Catfish, Will around this table, and listening to other people,
You're welcome.
yeah, thank you,
Steve.
and Steve, yeah, and there's the anchor point of where you should be shooting from, and there's a couple different schools of thought, and I'm changing where my nose sits on the string.
Yeah.
Just so I can be more consistent. Because I noticed I was having some issues with kind of lifting my head and also not being in the proper set position. Would you call it? What would you call that position?
With your elbow back.
Well, it's like when it's anchored in the kisser, like with the kisser button in the corner of my mouth, where my nose was sitting.
Right.
Sometimes it'd be slightly different. So I had Ryan move the peep sight, and we set it up so I can shoot from tip of nose, and had to shoot my bow in, and then I think I shot close to my best, if not my best, round at league,
Awesome.
which was frustrating and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I shot better when everything was together and I was used to shooting from the tip of my nose.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, I was shooting a 5. But I had a lot more 10s this week, which bumped up my score.
So help me understand this. So you're you're right-handed, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're drawing the string back with your right hand.
Yes.
Okay. So for people that don't quite have a firm grasp, such as myself, when you're talking anchor points and nose stringing and all that stuff, you're pulling the string back,
right.
And there's that little disc thing on the string, the kisser button.
Yes.
And that goes in the corner of your mouth, right?
Yep.
So you're physically putting this thing at the corner of your mouth where the top and bottom lips meet way in the
corner of your mouth.
the corner of your mouth.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you're saying, so that's at one anchor point.
That's one point of contact.
That's one point of contact.
Yep.
And then you're using your nose placement on the string as a second point of contact.
Yep.
And then the peep sight, although you might not be contacting it, but that's kind of
It is another. It's really another point of contact in your
point.
anchor because you're looking through that to line up your sight, your pins on your bow with the target.
So if you do that, if you line all that up exactly the same way every time,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be more consistent. So that's really what,
Correct.
Yeah, I was
what we're
trying to
going
find
for.
a better consistency of my shooting.
rather than using the side of your nose.
Yes.
Well, and if you think about that, like even if you look at shooting where you touch the tip of your nose to the bowstring, there is, you know, an 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch variance there where the string could actually touch the tip.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And then if you change that to shooting on the side of your nose, and some guys shoot off the string off the side of the nose. Other guys, their nose never comes in contact with the string. It's all in what you become comfortable with. But in my opinion, there's less variance if you use the tip of your nose. Because if you do, like I said, that 1/8 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch variance on the tip of your nose, if you pick that same spot so that your head's in a comfortable position, tip of your nose touches a string, then your eye can see through the peep. If that peep's perfectly in line around the housing of your pins, your money.
Has anyone ever come up with like a guard or something that you strap around your nose and has like a groove in it so that the string always lines up in the same exact place every time?
Will's going to get his nose pierced, so he just anchors right on that piercing.
That just hurts to think about.
Doesn't it, like when the string, if you anchor to use the side of your nose when you release, the string doesn't like rub against your nose?
It could slap against the tip of your nose.
It's gone. Like it's just kind of brushes. You don't want
to put it like in front of the string.
Yeah, there's other
that makes
forms. Like I've actually been doing a little bit of research myself on traditional archery anchor points and form and techniques. And I saw a really cool video about a guy who was having an issue with string slap on his nose. Just
kidding.
because the way you're going to hold that bowstring completely different, obviously, because you're using your fingers versus a release, but also where that string sits on your face is a little bit different, and your nose could end up actually in front of the string.
Yeah.
So it'll be more of a slap.
We need to
hold it. I can't. It stings.
I was watching the archery finals from that Lancaster Archery put on last year. They had them on. They had like everything on the internet that you could watch the finals, and I think it was traditional archery. The guy had like a Band-Aid type thing on his nose.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because it was like throughout they're shooting 300 round.
If you watch Olympic style shooting, which is done with recurves, you see a lot of like nose guards and things
so
like
there
that.
is
So I guess
okay.
Yeah.
Shoot,
But that's
I
more of
thought I
a
was
protective thing than a
revolutionizing archery.
consistency in your anchor point thing. But here's the deal, Stevie, to go to your question. If your bow's properly tuned and you're not getting contact with your arrow or the vanes touching anywhere on the shelf from the time that you release till the arrow clears the front of the riser, if there's no contact there, that bow will shoot that arrow exactly the same every time.
Every time.
What changes your point of impact is your anchor point and where you're aiming.
So the
it's
more
all on you.
contact points you have,
The more consistent you can be.
yeah.
Yep.
Is there anything else Any other way to an additional anchor points other than your peep sight, your nose placement, your kisser button?
One thing I do for consistency, and this depends on the type of release and stuff that you're using. You'll see guys, especially competition shooters, are using like handheld back tension or thumb trigger releases, stuff like that. I just use a standard, trigger release that I'm setting off with my index finger. But when I come to full draw, I actually take that first knuckle and I bury it in the back of my jawbone. So my hand's another point of contact on the back of my jaw.
I do that too.
You guys are making this all sound so...
It's sciencey.
Yeah. It's just all boils down to 4 things, right? That's archery. 4 things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've simplified it for you.
But and it's also fun just to get out and shoot for the league. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Are there prizes in that league?
For those who do well.
Like what's
so not for you? Is that what you're saying?
Do they have like an honorable mention or a most improved?
There's like a playoff this year, so I'm not sure.
It's a new format.
New format.
Oh, new format.
I don't know.
Ooh. So we don't know what the prizes are.
This is my first time in this league.
That would have been the first question I asked if I joined the league.
What do I win?
What's the prizes, buddy?
What's in it for me, bud?
Well, as Deaky was saying, though, at the beginning of his explanation, he's doing this to allow him to better improve his accuracy for next hunting season.
So the prize
shoot your bow to shoot your bow.
Yeah.
The prize is the camaraderie with your buds, the competition.
Oh, now you make me feel so materialistic, Ryan.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's getting to know your equipment, too.
Oh, yeah. That's
Absolutely.
100%. This style is the... so I think we talked about it a little bit. But it's varying distances, 3D targets, but it's in an indoor setting. I think that's the cool part that I haven't kind of done. When I shoot, I just make sure it's on at 20. I make sure it's on at 30, blah, 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 blah. And
when they set those up, the animals are all different angles.
But I've been going through the motions the last couple of years, and I hate myself.
Oh.
So
join the club. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but it's
the
it's
hating
my
club,
fault.
not
Yeah.
yourself. You know what I meant.
No, I get it. I've been going through the motions, and that's not how to be a good archer or an ethical archer.
Yeah.
You're resting on some laurels. I'm a good shot most of the time. I'm not great. I'm not the best shot. I'm not a trick shot, but I can put a group together. And so I rested on those laurels, and I got,
Do you take your rangefinder there?
You can, not for league though.
You can't use it in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a little bit more. So it's more difficult.
Well, it's a hunting scenario where you're estimating the yardage,
but
from
when
the angle
when you're
from
hunting,
where they are, because you're moving. It's 30 stations.
Okay.
But you're still in like one big lane. Okay. So as you move right to left or move left to right, your angles are changing for each shot. So, you can get out to closer to 40. You can get as low as 10 just because the angle and where the 30 target is placed.
And you got trees to avoid and all kinds
they got
of
branches. Like this week
Other
you had
targets.
to like thread the needle to hit the one target.
Flying grouse.
Yeah, there was a flying grouse this week.
What?
I mean, it was stationary, but it was in the air. It was elevated.
And the last time we brought this up, I also mentioned that, obviously for league, you guys are trying to shoot for score. So you should know where the score rings are on these 3D targets.
It's not necessarily a kill shot.
For the most part, these rings are in the vitals.
Yeah.
But it isn't necessarily where you would or should aim on a particular animal at a particular angle.
Gotcha.
So, there's different things to take into consideration. But regardless, it's all about that aim small, miss small.
More
if you're
times than
shooting for
not.
score and you aim for the rings, it's helping you work on that. If you're shooting it like I do generally when I go to these and I shoot like I'm hunting, I'm still picking that little tiny spot. It's just maybe not necessarily in that 12 ring.
Gotcha.
I always hit where I'm aiming.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I know you do.
Sometimes I just aim poorly.
More times than not, if you aim on an animal where those rings are, you're not going to be bad. But like Ryan said, that's another step, is to be ethical with your shots on a real animal. And
Yeah.
I will say this, my journey has taken me through. Deke's similar too. Is you kind of fizzle out after a certain amount of arrows.
Like
you only have 20 arrows in you of pure accuracy before you start to really have to hunker down and focus and try to be as accurate as possible with you. And recently, like, I can literally feel my body becoming stronger and activating those muscles and standing taller, and just having a good solid base. I hold longer when I don't feel it's right.
You're building your stamina.
Yeah, and it's like the other day, just Sunday, I pulled back the bow and it was so easy. And I'm like, did my strength stretch? Like, is there something wrong here? I gotta get somebody to look at this. And literally, it's just me getting stronger. I mean, so the repetition is everything.
Absolutely,
100% everything. Like,
does it take a lot of time to shoot through one of the leagues? Like, you shoot a couple times a week, right?
I shoot 2 different leagues right now.
Two different leagues.
Yeah. No, it's not. An hour, roughly.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends how many people are in the area.
So it's not an entire afternoon or Saturday morning or something like that.
No, it's really easy, especially if you go in a time where there's not a lot of people there. You can blow through it.
So
it's 25 minutes.
It's not a huge sacrifice in order to build that muscle stamina or stay fresh.
And that'll be relatable to hunting too.
Yeah.
You're on a long sit, you're tired, the animal comes out after you've been sitting in a tree stand for a while.
Yeah.
But it makes me think like places like 717 Armory, where they have these set up every week, and it's not just a league, or Extreme Archery. They have it set up year round.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of need to be doing this. I kind of, I need to make that effort. So not just do it during league. And that's me personally, because I feel a benefit. I see a benefit. My scores are pretty solid, for the most part.
There's no denying the fact that the more shots you can take, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
All around.
But I mean, it's not like, I know people do it. I know it, like, it's intuitive. Everybody thinks, but like, I can, not for the first time, because I did this a while ago. Whenever I first started archery, I was shooting all the time. But like the last wacky years, I've been just doing the minimum, and that's just, to me, that's wrong.
Well, how many shots a day did Corey Cogdell say she practiced with? I mean, it was
with the shotgun.
Yeah, with the shotgun. I mean, she's shooting, I don't know,
wasn't it like
hundreds?
It was 200 or 300. I don't remember exactly.
Crazy amount. Every day.
Lots of shots.
Lots of shots. So I mean, you apply that same methodology to archery. I can't imagine that practice isn't gonna help, especially.
It can be. It's very physical.
Yeah.
It's a lot more physical than you would think, depending on your poundage and all that stuff. But getting it dialed in and where you're comfortable, and knowing, you learn when you have a bad shot, you can correct it very quickly. You can diagnose it. What's happening? Because the last 10 shots have been pretty similar. Why is this one off?
Yeah.
Or why these next 3 off? And, that's something I had to do last week too. When Deke and I shot was, I don't know why or how, but my sight was off a little bit. And I shot 3 targets to the left, pretty much almost exactly to the left.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, I got to jump out here and fix this real quick. And a couple clicks later, we're good.
Brought her back.
So I got one more question, and then I'll step back from the archery.
No, you're good.
Line of question.
You're good.
Are range arrows different? You call them range arrows. Are target arrows different? Do they fly different than an arrow with a broadhead on it?
This all depends on what you're trying to do. The answer should be, for most people that are doing these 3D leagues to hone in their archery skills for hunting, the answer should probably be no. They're using their hunting arrows. Okay. There are different tournaments that have different classes. A lot of that has to do with the bow and the way that it's set up. But, there's a hunting class or I forget what they call the other classes, but competitive classes. A lot of that has to do with the bow setup. There are target arrows.
Yeah.
There are ways that you can change your equipment specifically to improve your scores. But again, the majority of guys are just doing this to hone the skills for hunting.
The only thing
they're
that
using the hunting
you
arrows.
have to do is
I
make
didn't
sure your
realize
broadheads are, but it's the same arrows. So your broadheads will be changed out from field tips to broadheads. But that's
Same weight.
Same
it's
weight.
the same exact weight. You just have to make sure they're flying the same.
There's a lot to it.
It's one of the top, 5 things in my life that I've ever done is taking an animal with a bow.
Really?
And it doesn't matter what you do, you can't replicate it. And if you don't go through the paces, and you don't do what's necessary, it can be the highest of highs and it can be the absolute lowest of lows.
Oh.
Like you'll never feel as bad as you do whenever you have a bad shot.
Yeah.
So that's why we do what we do. That's why you shoot year round, or you should shoot, at least, put in the time.
More than the Saturday before opening
Sure.
day.
Yep. There's something to be said for not being that guy. Pulls out his bow the weekend before archery season opener and takes it to a bow shop and says, "Hey, I'd like to get this restrung because it's currently in several pieces. It was under my bed all winter." And I pulled out the bow case and I need a new string.
Oh yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've
Really?
either
Really?
completely changed the setup or sold a brand new setup the night before. the
Well,
opener.
no, to your point too,
Yeah.
the last thing you want to be doing is like I said, Deke mid league changes how he shoots completely. Not completely, but almost completely.
That goes back to what I was saying though about why you're doing it.
Yeah.
What are the reasons for doing it? Because that's right now is the best time of the year to be changing stuff.
Yeah, I get it, but during the league when everything should be dialed in and just you should be hitting 11s and X's and 10s all day long, that it's
I'm gonna change something up.
just decide to change it up.
I'm shooting too good. I need to change something.
It goes back to I was feeling that I wasn't able to be as consistent as I wanted to be.
No, I'm picking.
I know
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from, but the other thing is
It's
I
very
wanted
necessary.
to find more consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I made that leap.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
No, I do appreciate the move, and I there's a couple leagues where I've just ridden it out until after, and I'm like, I'll fix this after the league, and then I never get back to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, whenever I have something somewhat consistent, even if it's off or a little bit, and I can work with it, I don't change it during the league.
Yeah.
And no, but good on you because you're shooting way better.
Yep.
You
Cool.
could see that right away. Small things. There's many hacks that you can do or make that will make the biggest difference.
It's a lot of little things that add up to
Tons of little things.
And
the
how
one
do
big
you
thing.
how do you get through all that without practicing year round?
yeah, you don't.
You can't. And then, every step of the way, like I said, I'm just so astounded by this process of doing it, almost like I started over, even though I know I didn't. Like it's not even close to me starting, but like shooting as much as I did when I first started. There's so much along the way that I'm just picking up, and I'm learning this. This is a different bow than when I first started, so I'm actually really learning my bow for the first time. What's it do at 20? What's it do at 25? What's the, where do I got to put it for 30 and beyond, And those guys, there's a lot of guys out there that are shooting all kinds of crazy distances and they're living with their bow. It's punching a time clock for them.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm not going to be, my hunting situation doesn't require me to shoot out to 50 yards on a regular, but like I need to know what my bow does at 10 yards, and now you have to aim a half a click low to get to the
the control that's got to take. I mean, I held a bow up and looked through the sights, and there's not much space between the
pins.
The pins, yeah. So to say you're gonna hold it, half a click low, I just I can't imagine what type of control that.
Oh, just in the fact that you
required.
know that. You know,
Yeah.
if you know that your bow is
Yeah.
doing that, that's, man, it's such a positive thing to have
That
it.
you're that consistent. Yeah.
The same way that you can take a big old soft plastic and skip it under a dock and always land in that same spot. And when you just whip that bait
Hey.
caster like that,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You just
Same thing.
It's consistency. I've seen you do it. It's impressive.
Yeah. You must have been fishing with someone else.
Or that
You look
egg
just
beater.
like you. You and your egg beater.
I've been laughing about that all week. So you mentioned, Will, about your first deer that you took with archery season. It's kind of triggered something. You got that with Tracy down at Heartwood Outdoors, right?
Oh, yeah, I got my first
Archery deer.
deer down in Maryland at Heartwood. He didn't know that I didn't
Yeah.
shoot a deer with a bow, and he just flipped out. It was the best thing ever. Like, I was like, "That's my first deer," and he just went berserk and started smacking me with his hat. I didn't know that. I would have been so, he was just as anxious as I was, and
He'd have been even more so if he knew it was the first one.
yeah.
You stole that from him.
So then it almost like a light bulb flips off, and he says, "You didn't shoot a buck yet." And I said, "No, sir. No, I haven't." So he invited me back and was able to harvest a buck then the same season. And
That's awesome.
I've harvested, I don't know, 4 more deer since that particular year. And but I owe a lot to him, for giving me the confidence and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, they got a lot going on down in Heartwood, and they have a men's retreat coming up.
Oh yeah, that
They
is
do.
coming up, huh?
Yeah, the men's outdoor retreat down there at Heartwood Outdoors is March 22nd through 24th. So it's this month. It's not far away.
Yeah. Definitely try to get to this if you're even remotely close. But they have all kinds of shooting competitions. They have the 22 rimfire.
I think our listener Pike Diesel is the reigning champ in that. So
Is he really?
if you
Yeah.
attend, knock him off the
Yeah.
pedestal.
Absolutely.
Somebody's got to, knock him off his little pedestal.
He went
Yeah.
head to head with Sammy
time.
P, the general.
That's saying something there, ain't it?
They got handgun competition. They have a trap shoot this year.
And I've been seeing isn't there a registration form
Yes,
to fill
yes.
out? Where can people go see that? Tell them where to go get that form.
You can go to heartwoodoutdoors.com and grab that registration form, and then they have send the registration form to Heartwood Outdoors, and it's at 2340 Liberty Road, Eldersburg, Maryland.
Such a nice property.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's a great opportunity to get outdoors and fellowship. They have speakers, and there's dinners and campfires, and just a whole,
Nothing but a good time.
a whole schedule, just full of just outdoor goodness. So look them up if you're remotely close to Maryland.
Cool. Anything else?
I tried to relive my first walleye experience
Really?
on my way here tonight.
What? Oh, no.
Yeah,
What?
You went to Hobo Bridge without us.
I did.
You did not.
I just wanted to check
You
it out.
Turkey.
I happened to pick up my fishing license. I took Hunter out trout fishing.
Hold on, you just
The
got
other
your
day.
fishing license?
Yeah, I didn't do any ice
Holy
fishing, so I didn't
cow.
really need it. But yeah, I
It's
just
the same
just
price
got the
whether you
license.
use it or not.
I
bud.
know.
You got to get it at the beginning of the year so you have it. You get your full
I
money's worth.
understand. I got it when I needed it. So
Oh,
Hunter
man.
and I decided we were going to try trout fishing.
Yeah.
You only
Trout
have
weren't
10
cooperating. but
months to make that up.
I know.
You should be all right.
The trout weren't cooperating that day. He managed to
That's a
catch
big
2
fall
different
fish.
fall fish
Yeah.
It's a big one.
in a pond or lake, I guess, Children's
Really?
Lake. Crystal clear water.
In Children's Lake.
He
What were you
caught
doing
2 of
fishing
those
in the
fall
children's
fish.
lake?
It's called Children's
Oh,
Lake. It's
Boiling
not
Springs.
just children only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with the fly rod.
Yes.
So if you go, have you fished there? a lot before?
Just a handful of times, but we were right at the spillway.
Okay.
And we went down and we were fishing in the breaches there behind. It's one of those trophy trout areas. I couldn't get anything to work for me. I tried a couple different
That's
things.
tough.
Is that the pond
It's
with
hard.
the fly shop like right on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the outflow of that
far end
pond,
is
there's
the,
a short run.
yeah.
That's artificials only. And if you get there right after they stock, oh man, that's a
Lights out.
a bang up
doozy.
time. Oh my
It's
goodness.
like fish in a barrel.
I actually saw a couple of guys landing some fish. I wasn't having any luck. I actually made the mistake of grabbing my creek bag.
You're like, stupid face.
I did push the one guy down.
I hate you.
But I grabbed my creek bag. So that would be the bag that I'm using when we're
For your
wet
creek?
wading, like at the Conawaga Creek, where I'm hoping to catch some smallmouth
You should have grabbed
or
your
rock
trout bag,
bass
bud.
or something like the rockfish, the red eyes.
You have
Yeah.
a trout bag?
So I need to make a trout bag is the problem, because I'm throwing like the little 2.5
4-inch
inch
Kai
Kai tag. No, but I'm throwing like 2.5 inch Kai tag. I'm like, maybe
Yeah,
there's
it'll
a
be
big one in
fine.
here. It's hungry. It wasn't really working for me. Hunter got a couple with his fly rod, so he was having fun.
That's cool.
But then today I decided to just swing over to Hobo Bridge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
derailed
there's
me there. With
nothing
that.
going on.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Really. How's the water level?
It's about where it was when we were there with Bucky.
Was it ripping?
When we caught them?
It's
Just a tad under ripping.
but it's ripping right there. There's that spot in the dam where it's busted through right at the steps. And man, you cast it out to that first pier,
Yeah.
and it floats downstream, and then whoom, the current catches it, and it's gone.
Yahtzee.
Yeah.
So
She gone.
I tried the rattle traps. Tried a
Nothing.
couple different
Ned rig.
fluke deals. Nah, I wasn't throwing anything enough that I was going to end up getting caught up on the bottom.
Well, you would get one chance with the Ned rig in that area. I don't even know if you would even make it to the bottom before
No.
it got hung up.
I did throw a tube the last time we were there, and I did hook up. I just didn't land it.
That sounds like high school for you, bud. edit.
I wouldn't take you guys there until I knew something was happening. That's why I wanted to check it out. I'd hate to
That's
waste.
what they all say.
I'd hate to waste your time.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. So I didn't put it on the koozie.
Now, I've used that excuse before and got lit up.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have my own fancy boat that you guys didn't know about.
Okay.
You're going to continue
While I was
to
there.
Don't think that that's a.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
not
the
a
way.
once and done
Mention
thing.
it and started to get
It's
lit up.
not
So
the way to do it. It's better to do it and ask for forgiveness.
Well, fishing season's certainly just around the
it's
corner.
starting to ramp
just
up.
around the corner. So, yeah. I used to work in a greenhouse, and this is in closing.
Here we go.
We're gonna wrap this up here.
I want it.
I noticed this the other day. I went into Home Depot.
Geraniums.
And bingo. And in the springtime, I
What's
worked
your
in-
favorite perennial?
Marigolds.
I used to work in this grocery store essentially that had a greenhouse attached to it.
Ziggy Azalea.
And
Stevie strikes me more as a petunia kind of fella.
Oh, yeah.
you knew spring was around the corner whenever we started getting flowers, and you'd walk into the store and you could just smell it.
Yeah.
And I walked into
Those
Home
big giant
Depot.
flats.
I hated that.
Oh yeah.
My sinuses.
It's just terrible. But I walked into Home Depot the other day and I, kind of breathed
went,
in real deep
What do I smell? Pansies?
and I could smell
What
it.
did you call me?
I could smell it. And right away, my excitement just started building because spring's it's here.
No, well, here's the funny thing. Speaking of smells,
Yeah.
I was at Hog's Head,
Yeah.
picked up a whack of jerky, and they have a couple new flavors that I haven't tried.
You didn't do the ghost pepper, did you?
I sure did tonight.
it's pretty good. I was scared.
Not gonna do
and
it.
I put my big boy
you have
panties
to.
on.
'Cause you have to say
and it's tasty.
have to do
you
anything.
have to. No, you do.
No, I don't.
What do I smell? Pansy. It's not.
That's because it's almost spring.
Bingo.
Ryan
Bingo.
turns into a pansy every spring.
So when you break out the ghost pepper, he does. But anyway, so I get the new flavors. Speaking of smelling spring, getting ready to fish.
Yeah.
If Dakota over at the Moses Family people did not come up with the ultimate, like, I need to go fishing jerky.
Really?
They make a garlic.
It smells just like a bait garlic,
You
Oh,
just
really?
start eating it.
and it's delicious.
It's delicious, and like now I feel like a striped bass. Like all I want is more.
I love it.
I want to. Yeah,
That'd be that one snack you wouldn't be afraid to grab when you're trout fishing.
you
using
smell
that garlic
exactly.
powder bait.
Yeah.
Smear
Oh,
some of
yeah.
that on it.
It's crazy.
Off-label use for
if it's still in your fingers,
My ears
no
perked up.
problem.
Yeah.
the chartreuse glitter.
So you found out at Hogheads they got it over there at MF Jerky.
Yes.
So head over to mfjerky.com. Pick you up a whack of that garlic.
How would you use that promo code while you're there?
Yeah, use that promo code JerkyPursuits15. Get 15% off the whole order.
Your whole
the
order.
kit
Off everything on
and
the
the
site.
caboodle.
Coffee included.
That's cool.
the kid and the caboodle.
You got it,
Oh
bud.
man,
Yeah, that old saying.
craziness.
Well, it's cool to be back. I mean, we're like we said last week. It's still this adjustment, coming back off of a big, show tour. So I'm glad
Stick
we're
with
back.
us for March Striper Madness.
Here we go.
Oh,
Strap in.
Grab a seat and hang on.
woo! All right, guys.
Thank you.
See you,
Later.
boys.
Later.
Yeah.
I was pitching docks along the bay where, I was expecting just some bass or I didn't really know what to expect. I had no idea what was in there besides catfish. It's the only thing we've ever pulled out of that part of the bay. And more. Hey, Kevin. Sorry, I pulled you out. Put you back in there.
Catching
Is there
Yeah, well, you would get one chance with the Ned rig in that area. I don't even know if you would even make it to the bottom before it got hung up.
I did throw a tube the last time we were there, and I did hook up. I just didn't land it.
That sounds like high school for you, bud. edit. And they might call them sea bass, but I know they have a striped bass out there. I've seen.
Catch them with Boilermakers.
I've followed a couple.
Boilermakers over here.
If that's sea bass over there, then well, he's gonna buy our beer.
Yep. So we're gonna try it out for March with March Striper Madness. If you guys really like it, let us know. If you don't let us know.
Yeah, keep
don't
that
mention
to
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
I can see it lending itself to, maybe different
other
species
topics,
of things.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Possibilities are endless.